Usually this is louder. What the fuck
That's
is
what she
going on?
said.
Yeah. Wait, how would that be sexual? I don't know.
I don't know.
Anyway.
It's up to the audience to figure out.
Here's the thing, though, people. You guys can't figure that out because we are here doing the chat attack. I mean, Civil Sauce pre-show. How you guys doing? Sunday service.
We don't know what we're doing.
We do not know what we're doing at all. No, but I do know one thing. Is that for sure, Sunday service is going to be starting at 5:30 CST. So if you guys thought that was...
Do you know that for sure?
We don't, because here's the thing. Earlier was 6:30 CST, but just to know, Coleman way, things had to change without people knowing. But that's okay, because yeah, people, 5:30 CST is going to be within 30 minutes. People will be able to hang out, join the congregation, talking about all the coronavirus news, the COVID-19 news, whatever the fuck they want to call it. And by the way, too, like, just like I said yesterday, I'm sick of talking about this shit, but apparently, every single topic in the world, like, if you look on Game Rant, Screen Rant, whatever, you cannot get away from it, dude. Like, are you dealing with the same thing at all, or not really?
Dealing with it, people texting me up, and I had to talk to my family and parents like, how do I, deal with this problem? Okay, I don't want to overstate or understate it, but this isn't that big of a deal. Keep yourself clean, and if you're worried, avoid direct contact with people you assume are sick, not just be racist and assume, all Chinese/Asian people are fucking sick. If you're concerned you're sick as well, then find a way to get yourself tested. But this idea that we got to freak out over something that's really just a bad cold, it's really completely ridiculous. But the thing is, I'm not saying that the business is shutting down. I think that's the way you deal with a pandemic is, hey, we got to shut down places where large people can meet. Movie theaters, events. Hell, the fucking E3 got canceled. Like, anyone that knows me knows I love E3. So that hurts so goddamn much. But I get it. You have to cancel these fucking events because you can't have the virus spread in these places that are really easy to fucking spread a virus. So it's like, all you have to do is be clean, be calm, actually wash your hands when you're done eating and going to the bathroom or going out. Like, actually do it.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing. People just don't take that shit seriously enough, man. Some people are still talking about eating ass, whatever the fuck, like just making jokes about it. It's like, dude, it's not funny. Like, you motherfuckers, you people like do certain things. Even like the whole simple thing of like sharing a cigarette, or sharing a soda or straw or joint or whatever. It's like, dude, people are getting sick. You can't even like walk around without being like paranoid that certain germs are gonna get on you. You guys are still doing this. You guys living life the same way you did before. Like, don't do that. It's not smart.
Oh, by the way, PSA, Purell doesn't do shit.
Really,
Purell, okay, so what people don't get about Purell, and the reason why scientists use it, we don't use Purell. We use alcohol at 70%, which is what it's in Purell. The reason we use it is to disinfect a certain area. The thing is we're generally working in a controlled lab area to which there's a certain amount of bacteria around, but doors are closed and we have a ventilation system to reduce it. We wear gloves, we wear a lab coat to reduce our own bacteria, and then we do that to reduce. We understand that there's no way to get rid of it, we just reduce. The thing is Purell is alcohol-based. That's why it dries so fast, you don't got to wash your hands, because it dries off. As soon as it dries off, guess what? The bacteria that's all in the air immediately just goes right back on. Yeah. Because you didn't disinfect the fucking world around you, you just reduced your hands. Now, if you're in a retail situation where, hey, 10 customers came by and you Purell yourself, sure, that will help reduce. But you got to understand what you're dealing with. You are reducing the bacteria around you. You are not getting rid of it. It's still going to be around. It is not a cure-all. It is not a shield that blocks you. If anything, it's more dangerous because people think they're safer. People think if I just get Purell, I don't have to worry about the bacteria. Yeah, you do. You still have to do the regular stuff of, making sure you know where you're sneezing, washing your hands periodically. Purell does not fucking stop that.
Yeah, no, Ruth's saying, yeah, let me bathe in Purell, goddammit. Like, yeah, I mean, I don't know, dude. I wouldn't want to.
You can. That would really, really hurt, but you can.
Cedric saying, yo, and Gary twice in the YouTube chat as well as his chat saying, what's up, guys? How you doing, Gary? Glad you're over here with us, hanging out with us and whatnot. Really appreciate your support and chilling with us. But yeah, man, like, that's the biggest thing about this shit that I'm just kind of like wondering. What are the things that are going to continue selling out? Because obviously toilet paper, people took that seriously, which it is what it is. Same thing with the milk. I think milk is like running out quite a bit. But now I'm starting to notice that people are actually putting pictures on the internet, on Instagram and all these other things. People taking a bunch of top ramens and fucking rice and all this crazy shit. I'm like, okay, dude, like you guys are so over preparing that you're just fucking over the other people right after you. and that's going to create more of an issue too. I know that
Nick's only mad because he eats top ramen like 90% of his food, so he's worried he's gonna run out.
yeah, well, that too. But I do have tons in my house. I was actually preparing beforehand. The thing is, though, too,
he's doing it before it was cool.
But no, another thing too about this as well is that fucking shit, what was I gonna say? I forgot what I was gonna say. But the thing is though, I just think, oh no, this is what I was gonna say. Apparently Kroger stores like Albertsons, Fry's, Safeway, all that kind of shit. They have this new thing where they put like these papers on the shelf saying every customer limited to one item on the shelf. Like, do not come in here and filling up your fucking cart full of all this stuff. That's not going to be allowed in our stores any longer. So I don't know, man. Do you think that's gonna make a difference at all?
Oh yeah, 100%. They do that all the time for coupons in a magazine where they're like one per customer. I think at the end of the day, they know it's gonna sell, so it's not like they're losing money. They know that this shit's gonna fly off the shelves. What they want to do is to make sure that that crazy math problem guy. It's like, what if John bought 800 rolls of toilet paper? You know,
Yeah.
John doesn't need 800 rolls of toilet paper, but you know what it is? 700 people need a roll of toilet paper apiece. So they're gonna make sure that they spread it out evenly. And as if a buddy of mine was on the podcast today, he'd be like, "Yeah, they're spreading around evenly, huh? Just like a certain ideology I have, huh?
Oh yeah.
Making sure everyone has their fair share, huh?"
Yeah, Gary's saying, yeah, wiping the ass is the most important thing right now. Actually, though, like, here's the thing. People make jokes, especially Corey Coleman, so sorry if I gotta say any opposite of what Corey says. And you guys are probably gonna say I'm stupid because Corey is the end-all, be-all of all opinions. But he'll make fun of people like, oh, getting toilet paper is fucking stupid. Why would you do that? Here's the thing, guys. And I know that soap and water will actually clean your ass a lot better than a toilet paper. Cool, that's whatever. But the thing is, let's just say something happens and you can't get into the fucking bathroom, right? Or let's just say that, you don't have enough soap to go around to wash off everything perfectly. The reason why the toilet paper is there is because I think it's pretty germ-filled to just be walking around with a shitty asshole. Or having boogers come out your fucking nose. Where are you going to shoot those boogers out your nostrils? On the floor?
Well, okay, it's not necessarily the issue of people needing toilet paper. It's the grotesque amounts of toilet paper that people are buying. Like, we were making the joke 800 rolls, but like, yeah, people are buying like 6 months worth of it. I think what it is people are going into, you remember, we were in Florida when a hurricane was about to hit. It was the same thing. People were
water, man.
Things were flying off the shelves because people are like, well, we're going to assume we're going to be in our houses for weeks. That's the exact same thing people are running, especially with businesses closing down. Italy right now is, and I don't have the virus for all you crazy people out there. I just had a fucking slight cough. Italy's like entire country's on quarantine. So basically they're saying like nobody leave the house, everyone just stay there. They've done other stuff to make sure that people can still like afford living in it. I think they said you don't have to worry about rent or electricity or whatever the fuck. Mm-hmm. So yeah, you gotta stay in your house, but you don't gotta pay for it. So it's like, hey, it works out. But people are assuming that's going to be a situation where we are stuck in our houses and we don't have a chance to go out to get stuff. So people are hoarding up on toilet paper, which is a very hard thing to live without.
Yeah. And that's the biggest thing about this, too, is just like those things, I totally understand getting toilet paper and whatnot, too. But one thing that's actually being affected a lot by this, and that's why I had the thumbnail to be what it is. I don't know if you saw it, by the way. But the thumbnail is going to be Phil Spencer, the guy, the main dude from Xbox or Microsoft or whatever the case. I kind of forgot what his exact...
Oh, yeah, he's like the main... I don't know if he's the CEO of Xbox, but he's basically the big guy running it.
Yeah, because I want to be more positive. And I'm never that guy to be positive, by the way. I'm always the guy who's always talking shit. Everyone else is telling me to fucking like shut up and everything. But Phil Spencer apparently has confirmed that Xbox usage is actually up amid the coronavirus pandemic. One of the things that I felt like this was going to be affecting in a negative way is the entertainment industry. And even though it's kind of affecting, movies.
Well,
yeah, the way
it's affecting the entertainment industry that you have to go to, not the ones that you have in your home already.
And that's what I was gonna say is like, dude, streaming like Netflix and Hulu and everything. I bet they're fucking loving this virus right now. You know what I mean? Not to like sound like an ass or anything. I'm not trying to say that they're evil or whatever, but I just feel like maybe they're pretty like, okay, you know what? Like, let's make fucking lemonade from these lemons or whatever the fuck. Like, it's kind of a cool situation, and I think that do you feel like this is going to, I don't know, make people kind of like not come out with the PS5 or the Xbox Series X, postpone it because they're going to get so much more money because of this situation right now? Or do you feel like how do you feel this might affect gaming in general?
This is just a happy accident where it's like people, you grew up in a nice thing, oh, don't play video games all day, go outside. Now we do the opposite, hey, go inside and play video games. It's just an entertainment platform where it's like, people have already like, hey, people just because of work and whatever just don't have the time to play. Like I'm struggling with that too. We were talking about anime last night in the after hours. I was like, oh man, I want to watch that. I have like no time to fucking watch anything. But
Mhm.
like I still have work, so I don't have to really worry about that. But like, yeah, this situation where I worked at a fucking movie theater and I was like, well, I have like fucking 3 weeks off because they closed everything down. They'd be like, yeah, what am I gonna do? I'm gonna watch Netflix. I'm gonna play video games. I'm gonna catch up on that back catalog. So it's like it's a situation where it's like, yeah, they're probably like, okay, good. We're gonna see a lot more people doing a lot more stuff. Video games aren't gonna get affected in sales because even if, like, let's say for instance, Animal Crossing is coming out in like 5 days, most people already pre-ordered it in one form or another, either digital or physical.
Mhm.
So let's say GameStop's just close around there, and the entire fucking country, the entire company just goes bankrupt because it probably would if they had to shut down. People still buy it physically, and the only thing that's stopping it is the big lineups outside of the GameStops for the fucking games. Like
Yeah.
that probably won't happen. But you can still go in and buy physically. You can get it from Amazon, Walmart, Best Buy, any of the places that sell video games, or you can get you can get it digitally. So it's like it's really not going to affect the sales at all. I don't see any video games being postponed except for games that are already in development.
Yeah,
Where it's like,
and
oh yeah, you have a room full of people working, and it's like, of course you got to stop that.
yeah, Gary's over here saying he's more worried about skunks more than coronavirus out here. Man, that's actually a pretty fucked up place to be if that's the shit you're worried about.
Wolves, bears. He probably lives in a rural area. He probably lives right next to a forest or some shit.
Yeah, it's all just saying he's gonna go balls deep in Doom Eternal, which a lot of people are probably gonna be playing the fuck out of Animal Kingdom because it's such a happy thing too. It's like Doom Eternal and Resident Evil 3 and even Last of Us 2.
What am I going to be
Maybe.
playing? I don't think I'm playing anything this month actually.
Yeah, well, dude, even Nintendo has this like really incredible sale out right now. Like, there's so many games that are like $15. You know, they're taking like
Yeah.
40% off most games, and Nintendo Switch does not like to do that. So I think they're kind of doing it audible. I'm pretty sure they weren't going to do this until maybe like April after people already spent their money on Animal Crossing. But the thing is, to bring it up, speaking of video game people actually taking advantage of the situation, GameStop. Gotta say, dude, they finally did something kind of smart here. The customer at the store is everything we do, and in light of the World Health Organization during the COVID-19 pandemic, our top priority is keeping our customer associates and
Yeah.
communities safe as we continue to closely monitor the situation. So, in other words, they are saying everything that they're supposed to say.
Well,
But
and every everyone here that has an email to anybody has been getting. I got like 6 of those.
yeah,
It's sometimes the same words, sometimes they add their own name, but it's the same thing. We're gonna keep an eye on the situation. We're gonna wipe down counters. We're gonna make sure people wear
right there,
gloves.
yup.
Like
Yeah,
we're
that's
gonna just do word for word. Like I've read through them enough times where it's like, yeah, because like places like, okay, grocery stores and small stores like that have people that your entire thing is to just you go in and you go out. They don't really need to shut down per se, but big places like a movie theater where people stay there for like hours,
mhm.
they're gonna shut down because hey, we can't have that. But like a regular store where the like unless you're going out of your way having a shopping spree, the most time you'll ever spend in a store is like 30 minutes, maybe an hour if you're really doing a lot of bullshit. But like most people don't spend more than an hour in a store.
Yeah, Drew ate that. How you doing, man? Thank you for joining over there. I was like, it's over here. What are we talking about, bro? No, we're talking about this whole situation with the coronavirus and how it's affecting video games and whatnot. And I feel like GameStop needs a situation like this because with Walmart having, and I don't know if this is official or not. In some places it is, but they're saying they're not going to let more than 50 people inside the store. Or was it 500? I don't know. Maybe I'm missing
No,
a zero.
50. I think that was the limit.
Yeah, so it's like, dude, there's many people who like to go around the video games and just look around and browse. People are going into Walmart right now, having to stay in line or whatever the fuck to get inside the store. They're not going to be spending a lot of time in the entertainment section just twiddling their fucking thumbs. Like they're going to get their groceries and get the fuck out. So, with that said, there's a big hub that's going to be over there at the fucking GameStop. Like they're going to want to chill there all fucking day. I think that this is probably one of the best things that happened to GameStop because they were losing so much money and losing so much interest and people buying stuff online. And I think that Amazon Prime is going to have a lot of slower deliveries for certain things too. So, dude, like, this might be the year where GameStop finally comes back, especially considering the
No,
fact.
not even a pandemic can save that company.
Well, Reggie
Like,
actually is going to be with them now too, so that's lots of
oh
invested
yeah, I
money.
heard about that.
Yeah, man. Like, by the way, speaking of that, because I know that we talked about it when you weren't here, I think. But like, do you feel like the Reggie situation? I forgot his last name. Sorry, people, I'm stupid. But he was the last CEO of Nintendo before Bowser came in.
Which
Do
is
you
hilarious to me.
Yeah, I love that name for that fucking for Nintendo of all places. But with Reggie going over there to the GameStop, do you feel like this is gonna make a big difference with anything, or?
Not a big difference, but he was the face of Nintendo of America for a while, actually, like a long time. Like I don't know when he started, but he was the person. My body is ready. Like he helped make the Wii U what it was. He helped, like he tried his best with the sorry, not the Wii U. He helped make the Wii what it was. He helped with the Wii U the best he can. He helped with the Switch, and then he's like, yeah, I'm kind of moving on. I don't know. Like he's good at advertising, which is what GameStop needs, but I think GameStop has a publicity problem and also a relevance problem. That's the biggest problem with GameStop is it's no longer relevant. You no longer need a GameStop, so the only thing you can do is make it more relevant. So honestly, the best thing to do is he's probably be like, hey, downscale your operation, reduce what you're going to do and make your online infrastructure actually matter. People are doing stuff online, make your online matter. But it's at this point, like you're jumping onto the Titanic and the iceberg's a minute away. Like there's only so much you can do.
Yeah, no, and I feel like everything went down over this. I feel like GameStop has so much issues to kind of combat. I mean, right now I feel like, and just like I said earlier, I think that coronavirus or COVID-19 is actually helping them. But I feel like if something does happen and they lose their shit at the end of this year or whatever, it's like they have tons of things to blame it on. It's like, dude, they were sinking long ago, man. I think they were sinking around 2008 when they were doing those fucking like what do you call those, like for X-Men Origins, a game where the fuck they had this thing where it's like, hey, if you come to GameStop and pre-order it here as opposed to online, then you'll get these extra things or whatever the fuck these like.
Oh, every store does that. The problem with GameStop is they were always trying to. It was a customer service perspective, which is it kills it. And it's like as someone that works in retail and customer service, we all hate it. We do, but the thing is the more likely you are to like where you're shopping, the more likely you are to shop again. I work in a retail store that sells clothing, and we sell it at a discounted price. But the most important thing is because you can go to anywhere to buy clothes, we need to do our best to make sure that the customer is treated well, actually, be smiling, help them out, do that stuff, because that means they're more likely to come back. And we see repeat customers, see people that actually like shopping here, because it's not like we're overbearing. We're there when they're needed, and we try our best to be as good as we can. That's important. GameStop stopped doing that because they're so money hungry. They're like, hey, you want to pre-order this? You want a warranty on this? You want to do this? You want to do that? And be like 15 minutes of like, do you want to give us more money before you buy your game? And people, as soon as they found another outlet, they're like, oh, thank God for digital, because it means I don't have to deal with these people that go there. And to me, it's like I never had that problem because EB Games was a bit different because we do things differently up here. We're not so overbearing with that kind of stuff. But ever since I got bought up at GameStop, they kind of been a bit more. But it's like, yeah, it's a customer service thing. People don't like to go in there because they get upselled 100 times before they leave. Where they're like, no one's going to sit there on the PlayStation store and ask me 18 questions. They're just, no, you buy your game when you're done.
They should even do like GameStop achievement stuff or whatever the fuck too. Like just like you buy these games, you bring them back, and then you have some kind of like contest or whatever where like if you have bought this game, you're able to be in this tournament. It's like I would buy games just to be able to be part of some kind of social networking issue where I can like play with other people. Like there's so many things you could do and so many ways you can kind of like what do you call it? Like you can organize it through like QuickBooks or something like through a POS system. You know what I mean? Like there's lots of programs out there that kind of work like that. I mean, it's just like the fucking GameStop rewards thing. So yeah, I mean, maybe they can do that. Maybe Reggie can probably put something into that. Like
I don't know because I don't know. Do y'all have a? I mean, you go to GameStop in the States. I don't. Do you have some sort of a loyalty card? Because I have one where it's like I pay like something whatever a year, and I get 10% off used games.
Yeah, I get that too. But then you also get this thing too where you buy games, and if they're brand new, you get some kind of like I forgot what it was. It's like no, it's like credit, and like these are virtual points. But you can also add to the virtual points once a month. If we do surveys, if we go on GameStop.com and you write reviews, blah blah blah, and it's like such a minuscule part of the program. But after like years of having it, you might end up getting a free game. Like it actually happened with me. I got like a free $12 game. The only problem is that those reward points only go to used games. But you can only get the points if you buy the new games. So it's almost like a program that feeds itself over and over and over again because in order to deliver on it, you got to buy all this shit.
Yeah, that's the biggest problem we have here because I have like a platinum card and you could just buy right into that. And like the upgraded version is the Onyx card. And I've had that particular. I've been going to EB Games for the better part of the decade, and I finally got the Onyx card, and it lasted 2 months because I needed to keep a certain upkeep.
Yeah.
But in order to keep a certain upkeep above 12, whatever the hell, you'd have to essentially spend thousands of dollars, like a year, to keep that. Like it went from 10 to 15%. So after a couple months of like, hey, I don't really buy that many games from GameStop. I usually just buy the keychains that everyone sees on my bag, and every now and then I'll buy something like, oh hey, this Switch game is actually cheaper here, so I'll just go in store and get it. So it's very infrequent. So it's like I end up just losing it all. I'm like, well, fuck. Like, why am I going to sit there and work all this money if I'm not going to be able to see any of the benefits? Like, I really wish I could just either buy into the Onyx or just have it maintained. Like, it was really, honestly, that really just depressed me. I'm like, oh, I finally got it. Oh, what a waste of my time.
Jeez, if Nick becomes a GameStop president, it will come back. Yes, it shall. I will bring that fucking place back.
No, why don't you walk in going, oh God, I'm out.
No, because one thing I will say too is like this is something that works for Guitar Center. I've noticed, and I've asked so many people this every time I go to Guitar Center, which is not too often. I wish I could go more often, but people always say that they go there to play the instruments and to fuck around with them, and then they just leave it. They don't buy shit. But then every time someone buys shit, it's always the most expensive possible thing. Where it's like if you make 3 sales in one day, you just pay for all your employees to work there. It's fucking insane how expensive these things are. But the cool thing about it is they have this credit card situation where you can buy like a $2,000 fucking guitar with the amp and the whole fucking thing, and then you know you gotta pay them like $50 a month on the credit card or whatever, like for until you're done. But some people, they just want to get the guitar, go do their shit with the band, and go on. Sometimes they can't afford it, and as bad as it sounds, I'm not trying to say you should fuck people over, but they make a lot of money on these credit card fucking payments. And
Yeah.
I'm telling you, dude, like just like the Onyx card, like what you talked about, the upkeep on just making sure you pay your fucking bills, they don't have to ever make another sale with that person ever again because that card will own you for fucking life.
Yeah.
And it's such a good idea, and I feel like I know it's terrible, and you already brought up the Onyx card, but it's like, why doesn't GameStop just do a smaller version of that again?
Because every time they try, it gets abused. They're like, hey, we have the if you have an edge card, you have the satisfaction guarantee for like a week. If you don't like the game, brand new, take it back. They lost so much money on that, they stopped. They tried to do a Game Pass thing where it's like you pay a certain amount and you could like get 5 games or some stupid shit like that. It fell through because when it comes to video games, a dedicated person can beat a game in a day, depending on the game. Like, for instance, Spider-Man PS4. I love that game. That game is about 20 hours, give or take. And if you know what you're doing and you just mash through the cutscenes, you could probably do it in 16. Someone could beat that in a day if they really just did nothing all day. So if that situation where it's like, well, I'll just beat a brand new game in like, less than 20 hours. If the person was a crack addict enough, they probably could go in the store the same day. Hell, I did that with Infamous Second Son. I literally went home, played that game because the game is like 8 hours, beat it the same day, hated it because that game is god awful, and I just burnt through it, went and got Battlefield 4, and I fucking love that game. 400 hours in that game.
Yeah, no, Gary's saying, I wish I had a Switch so I can get Animal Crossing and Doom at the same time. Yeah, dude, honestly, you should probably get that. You should probably, I don't know if you have a ton
I'm
of money.
debating if I'm going to get Animal Crossing because I don't know if I would like it. I'm not going to get Doom on the Switch. I'm not even going to get Doom in general. I didn't like Doom 2016. I don't really want to play another one.
Yeah, and actually, why don't you tell people about why you didn't like it? Because I got a couple reasons why I didn't like it either. Mine's completely different from yours, but I felt like that game did a lot of shit that all the other multiplayer games were doing. Because the multiplayer is what really pissed me off about it, and the fact that it's so
I didn't even
mindless.
play that.
Oh, really? Okay, but it's really mindless
yeah.
when you do the campaign because you're just like you mow through enemies so much, and you would think that'd be cool, but like, dude, after like so many, I'm just numb. I'm just fucking numb. I cannot even see colors anymore. You know what I mean? But why didn't you like it?
Because when I played, because the thing is, I was playing with Doom and Wolfenstein kind of at the same time, and when I played the first Wolfenstein New Order, I didn't like that game either, but I liked the shooting because the shooting felt fluid. Moving towards enemies felt very, very fluid. But the thing is, the problem with that game is they kept sending you giant robot monsters that were just bullet sponges, so it just wasn't fun. So you end up moving on to the sequel, Wolfenstein 2, and that's my favorite like first-person shooter of the decade because it was the dual wielding was amazing, the speed, the enemies, the environments were really good. Everything felt fluid, everything felt fast. Playing Doom felt clunky. It felt like I was like, oh man, shoot this enemy, he's glowing. Okay, do this, do canned animation. I'm like, that's not seamless. It's not seamless at all. When you're playing Wolfenstein 2 and you're doing a fucking animation to kill because you ran out of ammo, it is seamless. It is as if you're doing it in one shot, even though it's a canned animation. With Doom, it just felt so stiff. Everything just felt like, oh, enemies are there, and it was just so ridiculous to get your gun to this area. And your guns would range from like this weird hunting shotgun from the middle of Ohio to a giant space laser. I'm like, there's just this weird consistency of weapons that you need to use. And the environments themselves felt very just not really not interesting at all. It was like, oh, we're inside of a lab that has a platform, but then we're in hell that looks identical, except the platforms are rocks, but it has the same basic structure. And I'm like, this just doesn't feel fun to play. This doesn't feel fun to do.
It's a big difference
And
with Wolfenstein 2, by the way, because you look at this and these places look like actual tangible places. I mean,
yeah, they look and they're different too. Every environment in Wolfenstein 2 is very different. The characters were interesting. I actually liked the story for Doom when it felt like having one. It had an interesting character, an interesting villain when it felt like having one. But it ended up getting to the point, especially the BFG. It's just a weird crossbow, and then it just does a fucking like weird like screen wipe, and I'm like, that is so fucking lame.
Well, I don't think it's lame. I just feel like it's so like if you ask somebody like, "Hey, come up with the greatest, coolest weapon ever," and the whatever the fuck, it's like it's so basic to think. I want a gun that just wipes everything. It's
Yeah,
like, a little kid can think. I thought of that shit when I was fucking like 10. You know what I mean?
fucking take up Mass Effect 2 and fucking get the cane. It fires like a small sun, and there's like a nuke when it fucking goes off. It's awesome. And then Doom, it was like, boom, like I use it a lot because hey, that game can get pretty difficult at times. Yeah. So I had to fucking make sure I could do that, or I use it against the bosses. But I'm like, this just isn't fun. So when I see Doom, the new one, I'm like, yeah, you added a grapple hook. That's kind of cool. I mean, you added melee combat. That's kind of cool. But it just looks the same. So I'm like, I didn't even get anything from the fucking Wolfenstein quote, techno spin-off sequel. So I'm like, I'm not really expecting anything out of this. Maybe I'll pick it up when it's like $20, and maybe my opinion will change. But I did not looking forward to that.
Yeah, man. Gary's saying, look, I had a blast playing Doom 2016. Considered Game of the Year. And yeah, man, like, for that year, because I'll tell you this much, I mean, you can probably go back and watch some of the fucking episodes from back then, which I wouldn't recommend it. It was terrible. But I remember people would ask me, like, hey, what's the best game of the year? I'm like, Doom, I guess. And it's like, it was the best game of the year because it was a shit year.
No, the Timefall 2 came out that year. That's a way better shooter.
Oh, I agree. Timefall 2.
My game of the year was XCOM 2 because it's been 4 years, so I don't remember every game that came out there. But yeah, XCOM 2 to me was my game of the year because it was an incredible addition to the XCOM world. They added a lot. They basically said, hey, we're going to take XCOM 1 and everything that was cool about it, we're going to make it cooler. The Overwatch, better animations, way cooler. You could string together 4 Overwatches, like 4 people to Overwatch, and just fuck up a person. We're going to make you different weapons. We're going to give you different armor. All the enemies are going to be cooler versions. It's going to be way fucking harder. But once you're awesome, you're awesome. The story's going to be way more interesting. I'm like, yeah, there's a lot of, like, that's my favorite fucking game of the year.
Yeah, Austin saying Alan being a sourpuss, but no, I mean I
could every one of y'all. I don't give a shit. I'm used to fighting everybody. Wolfenstein 2 is a better first-person shooter.
Well, then again, you gotta be fair because Doom 2015 or 2016 came out, but like Wolfenstein came out a year afterwards. And to be honest, like Wolfenstein, they're probably working on that shit for so fucking long. And you have to understand too that like when it comes to fucking Doom, they had to stick with that whole horror / whatever the fuck. Wolfenstein can be whatever it wants to be. It can just be this badass.
But they're both kind of in the same universe. I mean, they're not same universe. Sorry, they're still the same kind of aesthetic of like we're gonna just have this kind of overpowered main character just fighting off a bunch of whatever the fucks. In one case, it's demons. The other case, it's Nazis. But I just had more fun with and when it comes to the story, like I like the story of Wolfenstein, but I'm not gonna say that's I preferred over Doom because Doom's never really been a heavy story. So I can't sit there and be like, I wish Doom had a better story. Doom's never really had a story. It's been like, hey, Doom guy has to go to hell to kill demons. That's it, and people like it. That's fine. You can be basic as fuck with that. But if you're gonna be basic, do something interesting with the combat. And I'm like, I'm playing both Wolfensteins are better than Doom 2016. So I'm like, I'm not having any fun with the shooter. The story's out there to go home about, so why do I like this game?
Yeah, Gary's saying, hey, you should stream the original Doom. Yeah, I actually probably will, man. Not like the original, but definitely the fucking...
Doom on the fucking, NES or whatever the fuck?
Oh, I don't remember. No, it wasn't NES, but it was like PC and Super Nintendo. That's what it was, Super Nintendo and Sega. Super Nintendo had good music, though. Like, you could hear the sounds okay, but Jesus, that fucking visuals are terrible. Doom 64 is actually coming out on Switch soon. I might do that. That's going to be a real big thing that's trending. And I try not to do too many trendy games during the shows, but, like... I don't know, man. With Doom, you kind of have to. So,
and just not to cut you up, the calls out in the chat, Gabo. Hello to Thomas and Kitty.
Well, you know what? I'll be Kitty, you be Thomas. How's that?
No. Okay. No. Someone in the chat asked me to call out their friends, and I did. I hope you guys are having a good time watching.
Yeah. I guess he has the hiccups or something. You're like.
I thought you were going to say something, so I got to stop.
Okay, I'm sorry. But anyways, no, but thank you guys for watching, both Thomas and Kitty. I hope the Kitty's actually just like a cat and not an
I'm
actual person.
assuming those are your pets, but I don't want to sit there and insult two people.
Eddie saying Wolfenstein is mostly a modern day style shooter. Doom is a true old school night. Yeah, exactly. Like Doom feels like it could be in an arcade or something, and Wolfenstein feels like an adventure. Like,
but it's still an arcade. Like, yeah, it's a more modern shooter because that's aim down sights and reloading. But like that shouldn't be a reason I enjoy it more. Like it was again, dual wielding shotguns was fun as hell. When you're running around, you're moving so fast. You could jump you could jump to various levels. The way the enemies were placed were really fun. Hell, one of my favorite fucking enemy types are these big colossal guys that just fucking do this like weird slide tackle, and if you dodge out of the fucking way and just shoot them from behind, they fucking explode. And I'm like, yeah, that's cool as hell. What's the biggest thing a dude does in Doom? Fireball.
yeah.
And then he gets his head blown off. It's like, really? Come on.
I still thought that was cool, but I can see your complaining. And Jean says, "Where are the other chat people? Are they okay?" Yeah, Jed's actually here with us right now. It's just she has lots of noise in the background, so she's muted, but she's here in spirit, of course. And Roxy and Gandra, I think, are at work, or they're probably texting each other about how they're going to eat each other's ass, despite the whole coronavirus thing, because
Probably
they're very.
And yeah, to authentic, yes, Wolfenstein 2's ending sucks.
Yeah. So here's the thing, dude. Are you still really, really mad about Youngblood? Wolfenstein Youngblood?
I'm still mad. It was the worst game of it came out last year. It's the worst game of that year.
If that's a game that's cheap, though, would you get it? Like, would you recommend someone get it if it's cheap?
No, I would recommend someone just get Wolfenstein 2. Because Wolfenstein 2 is way, way fucking better from a story standpoint to a gameplay standpoint. Because when you play that, I was like, okay, they're doing what I've always said they should do. They should just get the kids and do a kid's story. And when you watch the first opening cutscene, it's really good. You see the difference in personality of, you see the one that's going to be better, like more serious and trained with guns. You can see one that's more of a melee focused. And the way the characters are talking about, like the mother's like, hey, if you fuck up once for 1 fucking second, they will fucking kill you. Like, she's being serious about this because she's been dealing with this shit for like 20 fucking years. I'm like, okay, I love this. I love this. What's going to happen? We're going to help Paris because they're still dealing with some Nazis. Like, okay, cool. This is great. And then it's like, oh, ha, man, we really fucked up that Nazi, huh, sis? Yeah, it was really fucked up. His brains exploded. Ha, ha, ha. I'm like, what are you doing? And they're like, okay, let's play the game. Maybe, you know what, story's bad, but whatever. You know what? Maybe I'll enjoy the game. They took out dual wielding, so now it just doesn't feel as fun. The enemies are become bullet sponges, so it's like you're just shooting an enemy and it doesn't feel good. The weapons are the way the weapons feel just don't feel that good. So like, well, what's the issue? I'm like, oh, they added an RPG system. What's that like? Oh, you can put a scope on your gun or basic bullshit from fucking any Call of Duty game. I'm like, well, that kind of doesn't suck. Like, let me look through all the perks. Is there dual wielding as a perk I got to unlock? No, it's just not in the game. I'm like, oh, okay, this doesn't feel fun to play. So I'm like, well, I got to sit there and do the in-game currency to fucking, do shit. So I'm like, whatever. At this point, I'm like, you know what, fuck it. I'm just going to pirate the fucking game and use that whole Wii mod shit to give me as much money as I wanted. So I just bought everything. Made no difference. It didn't make the game easier. It didn't make the game more fun. So it's like, even if somebody actually went out there and spent the money they needed to get the upgrades, it wouldn't have made the gameplay any better. So it's like, why the fuck did they do this? This feels like a shout-out sequel that they're like, well, Wolfenstein 2 did so well, but we don't have any ideas for a third one, or we do, we just don't have time. So let's just shit out this garbage port and just hope no one notices. Oh, we noticed.
Yeah, no, lots of people know. It's like, that's one of those games where it's not what's a fucking word? I can't even, what's that? It's gonna drive me nuts. Like, when you say something that people don't agree with, it's not controversial. That's the word.
Yeah.
Holy shit! Why was that such a?
You almost had a fucking aneurysm.
No, it was Mickey Max. I'm like, that's such an easy word. I fucking use that word all the goddamn time. But no, it's not a controversial thing to actually say the game was terrible. But it's like, when I look at that, or look at like Far Cry 5 and Far Cry New Dawn.
Oh my god! Don't get me started on Far Cry 5.
Yeah, like, because it's the same thing. It's the same.
It's the same thing. Far Cry 4, I hate. Oh, sorry, go ahead. I'm still mad.
No, beat the fuck out of this game. I'm just like, why is it so bad? Like, you know what I mean? Like, why is it? It's always like the first one to go on sale. New Dawn's like fucking $12 right now. It's the third month in a row that's on sale. It's like, they know this game is shitty, but it looks identical. So what's the problem?
Far Cry 4, and I have gone on record of saying I hate that fucking game, mostly because I think the story kind of sucks and the rest, like, the missions aren't that interesting. It is 100 times better than 5. To every basic level. The shooting is better in 4. The graphics are better in 4. Like, it's like they got a game from the late, like the 2010s, and did it in like fucking 8 years later. The graphics look like shit. The character models look awful. The story is absolutely fucking dog shit. It makes no sense why this is set the way it is. The fucking best part of Far Cry, what made Far Cry the most interesting thing it was the kill animations. Far Cry 3 was like, we're gonna do Assassin's Creed but first person. Literally, we are doing Assassin's Creed but first person. You jump on a dude, you do a cool animation. You're underneath hanging off the thing, you do a cool animation where you jump and you stab a dude. There's 4 guys in a row. You could do like a speed kill system in first person. You control it. You can control, and let's say that you're surrounded by people. You could just start jumping to people. It was so cool. Far Cry 4, Far Cry 3 had that. What is it in freaking Far Cry 5? You barely notice it. Oh, you killed a guy? I think you did. There's almost no animations. The melee system that was fucking awesome in Far Cry Primal, it's barely there, so you might as well never fucking use it. But we got bears and we got woods that look like they're from an early 2000s game.
Yeah, and it looks so fucking cool. And I feel like everything you're saying, I totally would agree with, because there was like there's a few times where this happens, because I think everything you're saying right now, I feel the same about Far Cry 4. Where it's like Far Cry 3 had this huge weight on its chest from Far Cry 2 because Far Cry 2 was so fucking great. And it did everything so amazingly. And Far Cry 4 is like, you know what? We'll do a couple things that in theory sound
We'll just do the same
great.
game again.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, we'll add cool things that sound cool in theory. But then when we actually pull it off, you're like, no, you just kind of like scraped off something that was actually authentic and good, and just put some things that some fucking like 10 or 12-year-old be like, oh, dude, that sounds like a cool idea on paper. Like, you just put like trailer fodder into the fucking game. It was trash.
And then with 5, it's like it's a major downgrade. It's a major downgrade. Like it's like if Far Cry 4 at a quality level, like quality, you know, like how well the game is made. Because I don't like the story, and there's a lot about the game I don't like. But if you know from a simple quality product, it's a solid 7 out of 10. There's issues with the story, but it's a solid 7 out of 10. Far Cry 5 is a 4. You took everything that made this series unique. You made everything that made the series good, and you ended up just like you didn't add anything. Like at least Far Cry 4 didn't really add anything, but it gave you a winter environment. Like you were just taking shit away. Like as much as I hate Far Cry 4, Far Cry Primal, which is essentially based on the same engine and map, I fucking love Far Cry Primal. It's my favorite one, honestly. Like I like 2 and 3, but Far Cry Primal was like you gave me a cool different looking environment. It looked beautiful. You gave me melee combat in this game, which I didn't think would ever happen. So this was great, and I could tell you wanted to do this. This is an interesting idea. Like who's ever made a caveman game? You know, the closest you can think of is Ark.
Yeah, and by the way, like I understand people don't like Ark because there's lots of fucking issues with that fucking game. Oh boy, we will tell you, and I love it too. I love that game, but my God,
I got a lot to say about that.
Yeah, no, like actually, what is your opinion on Ark versus something like Far Cry Primal? The thing I was showing right now is Blood Dragon. We'll talk about that in a bit, but yeah, Jet, like what are your thoughts on Ark?
I have nothing to say about that.
Well, what the fuck?
I don't know, Jet. I think you might have a few more words.
No, because the thing is, me, Jet, and Alan, and 90s Ganja, like, damn, it's a lot of us. We were playing Ark and playing on places like Scorched Earth, which is a DLC for the game or whatever, and we just went to so many issues where people were fucking our shit up, and that's that's one of the things I didn't like about Fallout 76.
And I got a lot to say about that.
I don't know. I know you said that, but you might.
The thing is, the biggest problem with them like tearing all our shit down, besides like it only being like me and you, and we couldn't just stay up all night basically watching our fucking base and shit, hoping no ass basically kills all our pets and whatever with a fucking dragon.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's no room on like what are they called, the PvE servers? Mm-hmm. You basically have to play on like a PvP server because there's no room. You can do anything. Shut up.
No, it was fucking annoying back then. Yeah. And that's the thing. Like, I think they've made that a little bit better now. But then you get into something like what Alan was saying about Far Cry Primal.
Lying.
What's up?
They haven't. Stop lying.
They kind of did. They did a couple things.
We literally just played like 2 weeks ago, and what happened the day we fucking started like, some motherfucker with a dragon came while we were sleeping and blew everything up.
Yeah, they fucked me up pretty bad. But the thing is, I did play on an old server. I know that they've attempted. They even have like these things on servers now where you can put in certain things. Like, I don't want to be able to have people fuck up my structures. Like, you can put that in there. And the only thing they'll fuck it up is just you not playing, and it'll just automatically delete. But yeah, you can actually put that into the game, which is cool. I like that. But then at the same time, too, if you join a server, then everything was going to be built already. But that was something I was actually worried about with both Fallout 76 as well as Far Cry Primal, because I didn't play Far Cry Primal because Ark scarred me, and lots of other games like survival games like The Forest, etc., scarred me.
The forest is so boring, honestly. Like, once you build a decent place with like, which took me like what I'll say it took me about 5 hours, only because I kept dying. Once you build a decent place where things can't come in, the game just immediately just doesn't exist.
But does that exist, or does that situation kind of like stick around when it comes to like Primal at all? Like especially with the stuff that Jet was saying, is Far Cry Primal almost like the same kind of problems or no?
No, Primal's not a builder. That's the thing. Primal's a first person, like it's basically a first person melee game where you're basically the typical Far Cry thing of like go to these areas, liberate them, get an army, beat the bad guy. But the thing about it is there's subtitles, but it's like the language is the ooga booga type shit that you would see cavemen doing. But the interesting things that they were doing with the enemies, the interesting thing they were doing with the fact that there's melee combat, but you also have your spears, which I love a game that has spears in it. You have arrows and stuff, which of course you have to have some sort of ranged weapon, but you'd have a club that was really good and you could use it as certain enemies. You'd go to all these different interesting places. There's always a sense of magic in the Far Cry world that was really interesting this time around. We get to play as an elephant, where you get to kind of see the background of the villain and see why he's like so fucked up and so crazy. And it's like, it just did a lot of good shit that the Far Cry games are so good at, but that fucking Far Cry 5 just forgot about. Like Far Cry 5, the only magical thing in there is the mist or the drug sequences, but that's it though. It just feels like they lost everything that made Far Cry interesting. But Austin, Nick brought it up in the chat earlier. I can't believe I forgot about Blood Dragon. Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon is like the best thing ever made.
Yeah, I never played this because I felt like it looked pretty fucking silly and stupid. And I was kind of getting sick of the Saints Row-ism and the whole like.
It kind of is very silly and stupid.
Yeah, but like it's So to win somebody like me over with this, like why should I play something like this as crazy and fucking like not Far Cry as it looks?
Because it's still a good game at the end of the day. The mechanics are good. It takes a lot of the good stuff that made Far Cry 4 interesting. It's a smaller level, but like the way the game looks is really interesting. The weapon choices are really fun. And the dialogue to me is drop dead hilarious, where it's like installing tutorial. The mechanic is, what the fuck tutorial? I don't fucking need a tutorial. I'm a soldier. What the fuck stupid tutorial? And he's just loading in and he can't move. And then it's like, throw a rock to distract enemies. But in Far Cry Primal, it's like throw a D20 and you throw a D20 and the tutorial calls you a nerd.
Oh, really?
It's just like stupid shit like that. But you play the game, it's a still fun game at the end of the day. You're dealing with all these like neon looking stuff. It's basically just a parody of like cyberpunk worlds, and it was just such a fun, refreshing game that it's like, it's still a good game at the end of the day,
Yeah, and one thing that's actually selling me over too is that apparently what Austin said in the chat is that it has Michael Biehn, who is the original Kyle Reese from Terminator. That's how you sell a motherfucker like me right there. God damn, that's awesome, dude.
I didn't know, actually. I didn't know until you just said that.
Yeah, that is cool as shit, man. Because by the way, the look of the cover, Corey's calling me right now. Actually, talk with the chat really quick. I'm going to answer Corey. And I'm probably going to be starting, guys, in about 2 to 5 minutes. Who knows? Be right back.
Yeah. But yeah, like that's actually really interesting. I didn't know that the guy from Terminator was in the game, but I just kind of like, I was so excited for Far Cry 5 because it was the first time they ever did a Far Cry in America, because they basically got away with the fact that like, well, how does nobody stop this dude that murders hundreds of people? But they always did it in who gives a fuck areas and like the mountains of Tibet and like this random island in the middle of fucking nowhere. So they could get away with the fact that all this shit's happening because no one's ever gonna know. Like Far Cry 3 is essentially just like not Castaway. It's kind of Castaway / Lost, where you're on your own and you have to figure shit out. So what did Corey say?
Oh, of course, they're gonna be starting. He's gonna be starting soon. I gotta leave to do this Dropbox video for him. But the thing is, though, is as far as you saying that, man, Far Cry 3 being Castaway, that is actually a really fucking great analogy. Like,
it kind of is. Like, you're stuck on this island, you deal with your shit, but then eventually you got to save your buddy. So it turns into like a mix of that and Lost.
Yeah, because I'm thinking about this too. Imagine if Voss was in a movie with Tom Hanks, just like fucking with him the entire time. I would love that shit. This is probably, by the way, too. This character, they fucked up having this character not being in any other games, and I obviously, spoiler alert, 3, 2, 1, he dies, But it's like one of those things where this is a character that you should have fucking kept around or told another story about him, like previous to Far Cry 3.
Okay.
That character is amazing.
So I have to fundamentally disagree. I think that Voss is the Joker. And the problem with that is everybody wants to try to do the Joker again, but you can't do that lightning, even in the same game. Because the thing is, I don't hate because you have Voss and you have Hoyt, who's who's supposed to be the ringleader, and the only thing you ever heard from him is Hoyt creates Voss. So you're like, oh, this guy must be really evil, right? He's not any more evil than the main character is. But the one thing that I liked, like Voss to me was always, he's one of those people where you don't want to be in a room with him because sometimes he's like, and then I'm talking calm like this, and then I'm fucking crazy. And like, he did it so well. I love that shit because like, he's the villain you're dealing with on this island of crazy people. But eventually when you deal with the problem, it's like they didn't know how to do a villain that created him. So they almost didn't care. But like, I did like the idea that he's just a normal businessman, but I'm like that you should not that they make him crazy. I don't want to see that character again. That character was good and one and done. What I wanted with Hoyt would have been something like a Lex Luthor type situation where it's like, I'm just going to be so calm all the time that you don't know what's going on. So it's like, oh yeah. And then you just calmly walk over and light someone on fire. Like without like I'm laughing or whatever. Just like, hey, I don't want to deal with you right now. Shoot him. So that way, it's like, oh, that's how Voss was created. He was so afraid of dying that he just did whatever it took to not die. I'm like, okay, that would kind of make sense. But you don't really get that with Hoyt. I feel like that's what they were trying to do, but he never really works out. And then you just kind of beat the game. But they do interesting stuff with the main character. That's why I still love the ending of that game.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. Like, apparently, I didn't know about this either, but because I don't watch Better Call Saul or anything. But this character, or this actor, he actually got work on this show as Nacho Varga.
Oh.
Yeah.
Is he? I've never watched. I've never really watched the Better Call Saul. I have to just because I love Breaking Bad, so I should probably watch that.
Yeah, and then also apparently he plays Mac. I forgot his fucking name already, but he's a guy. He's on Spider-Man: Homecoming. Matt Gargan.
Oh, he's a Scorpion.
Yeah, that's fucking crazy. Like, how did I not know this, and why aren't people making a bigger deal? It's the guy who plays Voss, people. Like,
yeah, video game voice actors, people don't really know.
Yeah, I mean, dude, like, one of the biggest things, David Kaye, Canadian voice actor who did Megatron and the Insight commercial. And here's the thing that's really crazy. So there's a video game that he did that you and I have talked about. You don't like the sequel of, but David Kaye played a main character on a game on PS3. Do you know what it is?
Oh, it's Resistance.
Oh, sweet. Yeah, there you go. Nathan Hale on Resistance. Yeah, man. So if you guys play that, he doesn't really sound like, you know, Megatron from Beast Wars or anything.
Of course not. He sounds like an old person.
Yeah, but it would have been cool. Like there's moments where he's like, no, or whatever. And I'm thinking of Megatron, like, no, fucking Chimera. Like, you know, like whatever the fuck. And in Insight commercials, it's actually male enhancement, you know, makes your penis big and everything. Yeah. He does Megatron's voice throughout the whole commercial. It's fucking wonderful. He's just like, yes, is she unhappy at home? Do you need to take her down? Like, it's fucking great, dude.
That's fucking crazy.
But anyways, guys, yeah, like, I guess there's really nothing else to say here. We gotta get the fuck out of here because I got things to do. Obviously, Alan's been talking up a fucking storm. We're probably all very, very tired. But you guys can go and watch Double Toasted. They're actually starting right now, and apparently
they have been going for a minute. And I think Gers is in the studio. So.
Oh shit, yeah, and also Mark Ellis from Smelldown is actually going to be there too. So tons of white people, man. White people are just so great, right? So you guys can go and watch that shit. I'm sorry. Yeah, there's nothing else to say other than you guys can find Alan. Just find him on our chat tag thing. He'll be posting stuff on there all the time like he usually does. And I'm trying to, you know.
Yeah, you can find me, and also you find me in the Children of Toast. At this point, I've been making it a daily. Like, I'm just gonna say something stupidly controversial, like virus movies all suck, or the Batmobile is fucking stupid.
Yeah. Damn, Eddie, fuck white people. Oh no. Wait, Automod, it's okay. We say fuck things all the time.
You know what, Eddie? We got you, man. We got you.
Yeah,
even though the Autobot deleted your comment, we fucking. Hey, actually, yeah, Lurko's right. Let's fucking raid Double Toasted.
Yeah, let's raid Double Toasted and all that good stuff, people. Thank y'all for chilling with us so long. The music's already playing, so it's all cool. And when I'm showing our outro video, I'll do the raid. So, once again, thank you guys for hanging out with us for so long. Appreciate it. And we'll see you tomorrow. And I might be playing some Doom quite soon. Ooh, that rhymes. Bye. Alan, you know you loved it. Don't be so goddamn quiet. You know you love that shit. Laugh at me.
I ignored the fuck out of you.
Laugh at me.
Well, say something funny. Clearly.
Oh, it's not letting me raid. Go watch Double Toasted, guys. It's not working. I don't know what's going on. Hey, you know, good
right, raid a bunch of times in the DT chat.
There we go. I just did it. Yay, we did it. All right, go enjoy your Double Toasted. Love you. Bye. See ya.
Oh, there we go. We did raid.